liquid dispersed type, gas liquid, mass transfer. So we have seen in case of trade tower that one inoperative situation is the flooding of the tower, where the whole tower will be filled up with the liquid, and in that case the gas liquid contact is very poor, and sometimes during flooding we'll see that liquid is coming out from the exit pipe at the top where gas is supposed to come out, and through that gas outlet exit pipe, that outlet pipe, the liquid is coming out. So that happens in case of tray tower due to increased gas velocity or gas pressure drop. When you are using or operating the tower at high gas pressure, due to proper mixing or due to this intimate mixing by proper dispersion of the gas in the liquid, then the situation will arise when you will see that due to high pressure drop, the liquid is flowing from low pressure zone to high pressure zone, and because of that it is taking higher and higher position in the downspout, and finally with increased pressure drop or increased gas flow rate, we'll see that the whole section above this liquid pool on the tray is filled up with the liquid. So there is no reason for disengagement of the gas. So whole section is filled up with the liquid and the tower is then called flooded. Similarly, in case of packed tower, we'll see that here also due to increased gas velocity. But one thing you can note here that packed tower generally operates at lower gas pressure drop. So we can operate the tower at lower gas velocity compared to the tray tower, because in this case, so gas is not dispersed in the form of fine bubbles. So that is not required. So we can operate it at lower pressure or at low flow rates. But still we'll see that at some high gas velocity, when the gas velocity when it is increased, we'll see that the liquid hold off in the tower increases gradually with increased gas velocity, and this thing is called loading. The tower is actually getting loaded with the liquid, and that decreases the hold up, or that decreases the void fraction for the flow of the gas, right? So that's why this gas pressure drop will increase much faster with increased gas velocity. So that is due to the increased liquid holdup inside the tower. Then finally, at certain high velocity, we'll see that the same thing as in case of tray tower, the tower is getting flooded with the liquid. So whole section is filled up with the liquid, and we now see that now the liquid is continuous and gas is dispersed. So gas will come out in the form of bubbles through the liquid, as the whole section, whole packed section is filled up with the liquid. So liquid is continuous and gas is now the dispersed phase. This reversal will take place when the tower will be flooded with the liquid. So obviously that is not the desired situation. So we have to avoid that. That's why I told that. So our aim will be to operate the tower in the lower section of the loading region or below the loading region, right? So he mentioned that. So this is the best region for operating the packed tower. right? So just to avoid flooding, yeah, so we can operate the tower within this range. So same thing that we have seen in case of trade tower also, but there depending upon this thing that what type of liquid we are processing, whether it is foaming or non-foaming. So that also dictates how much flooding velocity we have to take, or how much actual velocity, that is some percentage of the flooding velocity we have to consider during designing the tower. So the same thing will happen in this case also generally, but in this case, as the liquid or gas is not bubbled through the liquid, as in case of tray tower. So here even foaming liquid can be easily handled in tray towers, in these impact towers, but not in case of tray towers. Tray towers, we have seen that gas is bubbled through the liquid. So if the liquid is a foaming one, then it will form foam or floors, and that will lead to the liquid entrainment, and then liquid droplets carry over to the tray above, so that which ultimately lead to flooding. So all these things will happen. So that is called this priming. Priming will take place, and that will ultimately lead to flooding. But in case of packed towers, here the gas is not bubbled through the liquid. So in this case, gas is continuous phase, and it is contacting the liquid, which is in the form of thin film surrounding the packing. So in this case, obviously, so formation, this forming is mostly avoided, formation of foams. So we can use easily this type of liquid. But even if you just for safety purpose, the same thing can be considered. Uh, Generally, this to decide the actual velocity, certain percentage of the flooding velocity. Generally, we follow the same the consideration as we have used in case of tray towers. So that we'll discuss in the next part. We'll come to this design. Yeah, this is actually this flooding characteristics plot. This for random packings or these randomly packed towers. So basically, this plot guides us uh, in the design to determine the tower diameter, right? On the consideration of this flooding velocity, right? So I mentioned before this design of any of these towers, tray tower or packed tower, means we have to find out the length and diameter of the tower, right? So length is generally determined in case of tray towers, we have seen by finding out number of ideal trays, and then knowing the efficiency, we can find out number of real trays required, right? So that number of ideal trays, for determination of that, generally we use this material balance equation, and with the help of this equilibrium line, we can find out the number of ideal trays or ideal stages required for stage-wise contact. But in case of packed tower, uh, as I mentioned before, here the contact is continuous, right? Unlike intermittent or stage-wise contact we have seen in case of tray towers, but in this case, contact is continuous. So the design, that is to find out this length of the tower, is on a different concept. So we cannot just draw those things that steps on this plot of this operating and equilibrium curves, right, in the XY plot. So we cannot just determine the number of steps, and that is equivalent to this number of ideal trays. But in this case, as the contract is continuous, so generally different concept is used, and that I will discuss in details when I discuss the packed absorption towers. But just to mention here that basically this concept of transfer unit is used in this case. Concept of transfer unit, and transfer unit is defined as that certain height of the tower where the change in concentration is equal to average driving force, right? So basically gas phase is continuously contracted, gas is going up, right? So let me just draw a sketch here. So this gas, so gas phase is going up now. It is for absorption. If you just consider the solid is being transferred from gas to the liquid phase. Now transfer unit, suppose this is the transfer unit. Suppose if I consider a section of this packed tower, right? So this is the, suppose this packed tower is the packed portion. Now I am considering a section like this, right? Of say particular say height. Say small z, and if the total height of the tower is say capital Z. So Z is the total height of this tower. So if I just take this small portion, right? So now the gas phase is continuously changing its concentration as it going through this packed portion. Now, if this change in concentration within this zone is from say Y1 to Y2, right? So Y1 minus Y2 is the change in concentration, and that transfer unit is defined as this change in concentration divided by average driving force. So what is the average driving force in this section, right? So that generally that is expressed as a del ym, log mean, yeah, the driving force. So del y is the driving force. So del ym is the log mean driving force. So then the transfer unit is defined as this y1 minus y2 by del ym. So we'll discuss this in details. So that transfer unit concept is introduced in case of this continuous contact equipment. So not only this absorption, so we'll see later on, even in cooling towers, even in rotary dryers, right? Wherever continuous contact of two phases take place. So we'll see that this transfer unit concept is used, and we design the tower, or we find out the height or length of the tower, length of this equipment, contact equipment, by this using this transfer unit concept. Basically, this is the height of the transfer unit. Multiply that. No, this is number of transfer unit, and then multiply that by height. That is also so. But I defined this is an NTG. This is NTG. Number of transfer unit. So basically, how I am defining transfer unit, if I put this NTG equal to 1, then basically in a single transfer unit, the change in gas concentration is equal to average driving force. So in that basis, on that basis, I am defining this transfer unit, but then this Z, or that will be HTG, height of single transfer unit, right? So that finally we'll get that Z is equal to STG times NTG, whatever it is, right? So anyway, so that is a different concept. We'll discuss whole thing, how to derive these expressions by this differential balance, differential material balance. We'll do that thing, but just timing, you know that is the different concept. So we have to use the concept of transfer unit to find out the height of the tower. Now in this case, so in this case, by this flooding plot, we can find out the diameter of the tower, right? Same way you have seen in case of Trey towers. So you find out the diameter of the tower. Basically, diameter of the tower that is determined by the liquid and gas flow rates, right? So your tower should be of sufficient diameter to accommodate that liquid and gas flow rates, or the flow rates of the streams that the tower will have to handle. So in this case, the same way you'll see that for different gas pressure drop, these are all flooding lines, right? These are all flooding lines. These x-axis values are L dash by G dash, rho G by rho L minus rho G. Those are the densities of the gas and liquid phases. And y-axis ordinate, that is G dash square CF mu L, liquid phase viscosity, raised to 0.1, and the denominator of the densities rho G into rho L minus rho G, right? This G dash L dash, these are the superficial liquid and gas velocities, that is basically per unit tower cross section. So per unit tower cross sectional area, total gas this mass flow rates, or this liquid mass flow rates per unit tower cross section, right? That dash or prime indicates that, right? So you know for your tower what are these values. Even you may not be knowing this, but you know this L and G, right? So L and G are liquid and gas flow rates, right? So L by G is same as L dash by G dash, right? So same as L dash by G dash. So instead of this, we can have this L dash L by G, rho G by rho L minus rho G raised to half. So that you know this parameter, right? So you know this parameter, then for a particular this thing, value of this parameter, you can just go vertically up to the flooding line, right? So it's not straight. So I'm not using this thing, that thing. So that's why. So anyway, just you can just go vertically up. So you'll come up to this point. So you come straight. So for this value of the parameter, you will come to this. This is the approximate flooding line. These are at different gas velocities. So sorry, gas pressure drops. Now in the flooding line, then you go horizontally to this line. To the y-axis, we will find out the value of this parameter, right? We will find out the value of this parameter. Then from knowing other values except G dash, we can calculate G dash from this. CF is the packing factor that is generally available in the form of correlations or in the form of tables. So for different types of packings, that will be different, like even for the packing size, right? Suppose you are using 1 inch say racing ring, right? We'll get one value of CF. We'll get say 1.5 inch racing ring, or 1.5 inch say partition ring, right? So we'll get different values for this. Those are all tabulated. That basically those are usually given by the manufacturer. So who is supplying you this packing? So that will be the characteristics of the packing material. So that will be supplied by the manufacturer who is supplying those packing materials. So you know these CF, you know these liquid viscosity and these density values for gas and liquid phases, and knowing this value equal to this, so you can find out what is G dash or G prime, that is superficial gas velocity, right? That is under flooding. This superficial gas velocity is under flooding, right? Now you take this actual gas velocity as certain percentage of this flooding velocity. Generally for trade towers, we have seen that if the liquid is foaming, then we take 80 to 80 that 75% or less. 75% of the flooding velocity as actual velocity, but if it is non-foaming, then 80 to 85%, right? Similarly, in this case, whether it is foaming or non-foaming, but as I mentioned, so that will not matter much in this case. But still, generally, for uh, better operation of the tower, we take this actual velocity as certain percentage of this flooding velocity, right? Say in between, say generally we take from say 75 to 80%, 75 to 80% of the flooding velocity as the actual velocity, actual G dash, we can now find out. Now, if we just divide G by G dash, we'll get the cross-sectional area of the tower, right? This is superficial velocity, right? Per unit tower cross-section. And this is just total gas velocity. So, or gas flow rate, mass velocity, we call this. So then, basically, if you divide G by G dash, we will get the cross-sectional area of the tower, right? So once you know that, then you can find out the diameter, right? So this way, we can find out the diameter of the tower, right? So you can find out the diameter of the tower in this way by considering the flooding velocity, right? Or this flooding characteristics plot for this particular tower. So generally, this is sometimes called this Eckart plot. So after Eckart, who this devised this type of plot for designing packed towers. So basically, then from this you'll get the value of G dash under flooding, and then you find out actual G dash as say 75 to 80% or 85% of this flooding velocity, and then divide actual G, that is, or the total G, total gas rate by this actual superficial gas rate. So we'll get the tower area, cross-sectional area. From that, we'll get the tower diameter, right? So this way we get these things, and height we have to determine in a different way, that is by applying this transfer unit to finding out the number of transfer units, and then height of a single transfer unit. Just product of these two will give you the height of the packed tower, right? So that we'll discuss in detail when we'll study gas absorption in packed tower, right? Yeah, next, actually I mentioned that tray towers and packed towers, these are the most versatile gas liquid contactors of these two different categories. Basically, this tray tower from this gas disperse type, it is most important, most widely used, most commonly used. You will see, yeah, a lot of applications. Yeah. And similarly, this packed tower, which is a liquid dispersed type. But remember here, this liquid is dispersed not in the form of fine droplets, but it is in the form of thin liquid films surrounding the packing, right? So anyway, this is one kind of distribution. the liquid dispersion. So liquid dispersed type, most important contactor is the packed tower. Right, then when we have these two types of towers, which are most commonly used or we can use for your purpose of this mass transfer operation, then obviously then we should have certain guiding criteria based on which we can decide that which uh, tower we'll use for a particular service, right? So I have here just mentioned these 8 points that based on which we can just decide which tower will be suitable or most suitable for your mass transfer operation. So first thing is gas pressure drop. So I mentioned already that packed towers require smaller pressure drop, right? So here that gas is not forced through the liquid pool, right? So that need lot of paper, a lot of this pressure, right? So pressure drop in case of, because as the gas is flowing through the liquid pool, so pressure drop will be more in case of tray towers, gas pressure drop. But in case of packed tower, here the gas is continuous, so it is continuously moving upward through the packing, right? Through the packing. So obviously here pressure drop required is less compared to that in case of tray tower, right? So now if you have a gas which is available at low pressure, or sometimes yeah, the costly gas systems will be available at low pressure, so then we'll have to go for this pack tower for this mass transfer operation, right? Then second point is the liquid hold up. Liquid hold up we have seen. So during loading we can have this high liquid hold up for the pack towers. So otherwise pack towers are of very little liquid hold up. Liquid is not remaining inside this thing. But in case of tray towers, we have seen that on each tray there is a pool of liquid, right? So if you just overall see, right, the tray tower with multiple trays, right? So then we'll see that lot of liquid is remaining inside the tower at any instant of time. So that is called this liquid hold up, right? So liquid hold up, so in case of so tray tower is very high compared to that in case of pack towers, right? So so for your system, we don't want your liquid to remain inside the tower for a longer period of time. So obviously then we will not go for this type of tower. This will not go for the tray tower, right? It's because why will not? So the situation may arise that if we just keep the liquid inside the tower for a long period of time. So high liquid hold up means basically so that liquid is remaining in the inside the tower for a longer period of time, or the holding time or contact time or residence time inside the tower is high. So if we are handling say heat sensitive liquid, then what will happen if you keep it exposed to high temperature for a longer period of time? So it may deteriorate in quality, right? So we don't want that, right? So sometimes it may be necessary that we have to process heat sensitive materials. We are producing some heat sensitive materials like this fragrance and those kind of things, right? Some extract kind of things. Then basically it is not possible to go for these tray towers, because there the liquid residence time inside the tower is relatively high compared to packed towers, and during that residence time your liquid may be degraded by exposure to this high temperature. So we don't want that. So obviously then we have to go for packed tower, right? Then third point is this liquid to gas ratio. So L/G ratio, right? So already we have seen that as we don't very high flow rate for the gas in case of packed towers, right? So basically then high values of this L/G ratio will be easily handled. So basically high L, small g, so large L and a small g. So then L/G is high. So high values will be best handled in packed towers. But low values, very low values, basically then high gas rate and this low liquid rate. So those will be best handled in tray towers, right? So depending upon your these liquid and gas flow rates, then you can decide which type of tower will be suitable for your this operation. So so then you can decide depending upon this liquid and gas rates that we have to handle or the tower has to process. Then liquid cooling. So tray towers are suitable. So liquid cooling is most suitable for tray towers because I think I mentioned before, you have seen that. So in tray towers, as there are these liquid pools on the trays, so we can just remove this liquid from one tray. If cooling is required, we just take it out, cool it outside, and then send back to the tray below, right? And send back to the tray below, right? So here, say another arrangement, another cooling at the lower location. So it is possible that, so if you use tray tower, then liquid cooling is possible by taking out the liquid from one particular tray and then cooling it outside and then sending it back to the tray below, right? Even if you don't want to use external cooler, even we can have this cooling coil inside the tray, we can install also, right? So cooling coil inside the tray also can be installed so that we can have this liquid cooling in case of tray towers. This is one example of this, this CO2 carbon dioxide absorption from flue gas, clean flue gas, cleaned for this dust and suspended particles, right? Then that gas is passed through this, and generally this is absorbed in alkanol amine solution. So amine absorber. So amine absorber. So that is again this thing after absorption. So it is then sent to the regenerator where this basically this reverse of this absorption process takes place, that is called desorption or stripping. So CO2 will be stripped out and then this liquid will be recycled. This is called the regenerator, or this regenerated liquid is recycled because, as I mentioned, this aqueous alkanolamine solutions like this DEA, diethanolamine. So we'll discuss later also. So I will study actual absorption. So then these amine solutions are used for this efficient absorption of this thing because CO2 is acidic and in nature and amines are basic. So we'll get very good rates of absorption. So when we'll use this type of arrangement, and at the same time we can regenerate the amine so that reaction is reversible. So if you just heat it at some temperature, right, around 100 degrees centigrade, so that amine will be released and the CO2 will be released and will regenerate the amine solution, and then you can recycle that for further absorption, right? So anyway, so when we have this tray tower, right, so we can have this type of interstage or intermediate cooling. this inter-tray, right? So inter-tray cooling is possible, but this is not possible in case of packed tower. So there basically we have this whole, in the whole section, this contact is continuous, right? Contact is continuous. If you want to use this thing, then again you have to use special packed tower. So where I mentioned before that you may have this kind of thing. Right. So this is one, this is second section, right? So here we can, that liquid will be collected. Here you can install cooling coil, or you can take the liquid out. You can take the liquid out from here, cool it outside, and then spray in this section. Right? Right? So in the second section you can spray, right? So then basically you have to do this kind of special arrangement, right? Or this special type of packed column you have to use. But in case of tray towers, that is very easy. So we can withdraw the liquid solution from the intermediate tray, and then cool it outside, and then send it back to the tray just below that. So this is possible in case of tray towers. But in case of packed towers, so as I told, so it may be possible, but we have to do this kind of special arrangement. So obviously special arrangement means with increased cost. So then you have to consider. Right? Then side stream. Side streams are more readily removed from tray towers. Right? So that you have seen, right? That you have seen. So we have. So you have seen this example. So refinery distillation tower, this crude distillation column, right? Or so there we'll see this thing, right? So we can withdraw this side stream and then send it back as a reflux for the tray below, but at the same time we just take out this distillate product. So distillate 1, right? Similarly distillate 2. So, and this distillate again, this is another distillate. First distillate, this may be your this gasoline, then kerosene, then diesel, right? When you are doing these crude distillations, and then bottom, that is the residue, that is again taken to mostly to this vacuum distillation column, right? So this is ADU, atmospheric distillation unit. So here you will get this gasoline, kerosene, diesel, these different products, carts from different location of the cooling tower of this tray tower. So basically in this case, so it is possible to side draw the different streams. So if you are using these tray towers, right? So then it is not possible in case of packed tower, right? So then that's why these refinery distillation columns are all these tray distillation columns, right? Foaming systems, packed towers are more suitable. So obviously, in this case, gas is not bubbling through the liquid, right? So foam formation is avoided in this case due to that. But in case of tray towers, the gas is bubbled through the liquid. So if the liquid is a foaming one, then lot of foams will be formed, and then you have to this gas will have to disengage from that foam, and most of the cases we'll see that foams just carry these liquid droplets. When the gas is disengaging, it will carry some liquid droplets with it, and that will be carried to the tray above. So those things are not there in case of packed towers. So if you have this foaming liquid, then we will go for packed tower for this operation. Then corrosion, packed towers are more suitable, right? So packed towers generally we are using the packing materials as the internals, but yeah, we can have those materials with proper materials of construction depending upon the thing used, but mostly the ceramics or this kind of things are used. But in case of tray towers, we have these internals or these tray material. Not only that, if you are going for this valve tray or this bubble cap tray, right? Those bubble caps or these valves, so all those things are fitted. So several internals are there, right? So materials of construction for those materials obviously will be costly if we are handling the corrosive liquid, right? So that's why these packed towers will be more suitable for such service, right? When we are handling these corrosive liquids or corrosive streams, right? Then cleaning, frequent cleaning is easier with tray towers. Obviously, tray towers, you can have manholes on the side walls, and then even for large diameter towers, so even person can go inside and clean these things. So otherwise, it is accessible. But in case of packed towers, that is not so easy. So for cleaning, we have to take out all the packing materials and then you have to clean outside and then you have to dump, right? So frequent cleaning is not easy in case of packed towers, right? So that is possible in case of tray towers, right? So these are the most important points based on which you can decide which type of tower will be most suitable for your service, right? And other things like this, cost and those things will be there. Cost is always obviously we have to go always for the low cost equipment, right? And so that is not a thing, but the thing is that, so these are the other process parameters which will guide you in selecting the best tower for your service, whether tray tower will be suitable or packed tower will be suitable. So that's all for this thing, gas liquid equipment part. So if you have any doubt, queries, you can ask. So we'll discuss just a few minutes. We started late. Any question? So whole class silent. Okay, let me just see whether these guys are present. Abhishek Mandi. Abhishek Mandi. Please respond. Siraj Islam. Siraj Islam.
Present, sir.
Abhirup. Abhirup Mandal. Abhirup Mandal. Yashwant Singh Chawda.
Present, sir.
Who, Yashwant?
Yes, sir.
It is not coming here. I don't know whether. Like Abhijit Sinde. Abhijit.
Sir. Present, sir.
Advait. Advait Nagle. Dharekar. Aniket. Parth Bhaskar.
Present, sir.
Ria. Riya Sarkar,
Present, sir.
Susrut Dhiman, Susrut, Argho Ghosh, Argho Ghosh, Nitin, Nitin Kohli,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Rishabh Pal, Saurabh Soni,
Present, sir.
Kumbham Krishna, Kumbham Krishna, Shubham Kumar,
Yes, sir.
Shubham Kumar. Okay. So you are the backlog candidates. That's why I just wanted to see how you are attending. So I don't know whether you are listening or not. So at least you are attending, right? Hmm. But few are not attending regularly. I have to check. Okay. So okay, if you don't have any question, so we'll close the meeting for today. So next class we'll start actual master start operation. That will start.